I do want to be world champion. The goal was to headline WrestleManias, to not just be one of the guys, to be the guy. All I ever wanted to be was a wrestler. Thankfully, wrestling's provided a living where I can pick and choose what I want to do.
Congrats on your first movie.
Thank you.
You think this is the first of many?
If the right opportunity comes up, I'm going to do it.
Winning the World Heavyweight Championship, did that feel like your WrestleMania moment?
Yeah, it did. That was very real.
The photo with Jack Perry was something else.
The internet had a freaking meltdown. It was hilarious.
WrestleMania 39, what did that match mean to you?
Probably is the best match of my career.
Do you feel like you're doing the best work of your career right now?
Yes, because I'm having the most fun.
I love that you're wearing the bracelet.
Of course I'm wearing the bracelet.
Isn't it so funny that one of the best rivalries in WWE right now, in all of wrestling right now, is over a bracelet?
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like, I've seen some of the memes about, it being more meaningful, or people have more of an emotional attachment right now than some of the titles, which might technically be true right now, but eventually, the titles will kick up their gear and the storylines, etc. But I'm going to be so bold as to say this right now is perhaps the top prize in all of wrestling.
Amazing. Do you feel like you're doing the best work of your career right now?
Yes, because I'm having the most fun.
It looks like you're having a lot of fun out there. It also feels like a lot looser. Like, what's changed with that type of stuff over the last year or so?
It's all across the board. Just with the new management coming in, new creative process, Hunter kind of leading the ship and giving a lot of people, basically everybody, but specifically the ones that have been there for a minute, the chance to, hey, if you've got more to show, then show it. This is your chance. There's no wrong answers. Go for it. And if it fails, it's on you. Yeah. If you're willing to take that wrist slap, and I'm willing to take a wrist slap, a fining, a firing, to be true to myself and the relationship now I have with creative, how much they know the character, because it's essentially me with the volume turned up. When it comes to the Punk stuff especially, because I can't stand the guy. It's easy. But it's awesome and to see it across the board, not just for myself, just how many characters have stepped up and standing out right now, and Raw is a lot easier to watch. 3 hours is still a lot, but it's a lot easier to digest these days. The show flows so well. There's so many popular characters. It's amazing just to see wrestling so healthy and everybody thriving.
We've been talking about doing this interview for a long time.
Long time.
We're here. It just took you starring in a movie to make this happen.
Yeah, I was just waiting for the right moment. It's the right moment. It's only been like a year or so.
Congrats on your first movie.
Thank you.
What role did Dave Bautista have in you being in the Killer's Game?
What role did Dave have?
Yeah.
He was about fourth and I was top billing.
But how did he get you into the film?
I'm joking. He called me and had a pitch. One, I thought it was just a catch up, and he'd mentioned that he's working on his new movie, The Killer's Game. Told me a bit of the premise, which I loved. The hitman that takes out the bad guys and is never going to have that happy part of his life. He does what he does, and he finds the right girl, and everything's perfect until it's not perfect, and he decides to take a hit out on himself. I'm not going to ruin it any more than that, but it gets pretty exciting. A lot of people come to kill him, including this guy, and they needed some extra characters. The director, J.J. Perry, had said, I've got this idea for this Scottish brothers, the McKenzie brothers. I have one of them. The other one I just want to be, the big, imposing guy that can feasibly and realistically beat you up. And I just want them to have these thick Scottish accents and be just wild, kind of drinking party badasses that are somewhat unintelligible because of their thick accents. And Dave basically said, I actually know that guy, he exists, and called me.
His name's Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I'll call him right now. He actually exists on planet Earth. He's a wild man.
How similar is the accent in the movie to like the accent that you had maybe previous to WWE?
It's
thick. It's thick.
Yeah, it's similar, but I mumble a lot when the red light is not on. To this day, I also enunciate a little better after 17 years in America. But yeah, before I came to America, I had the thick accent. The Scottish accent is the hardest accent in the world to understand. We have the accent. We speak fast. We use a lot of slang. And
there were subtitles in this movie. For your character.
Yeah, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but it was fun. Like just having JJ say, just go ridiculous, use whatever Scottish slang you want because I don't know it. So just thinking back to all the crazy words I used to say back in Scotland and the current slang, asked to my friends, what's some of the current slang that would be fun to use in this. And there's no, swearing restrictions that might have on WWE sometimes. Come on, Netflix. So I got to freely use a lot of words, including my favorite word in the world, the C word.
Oh, okay.
People are so offended by that word in America, and I've never understood why. The Butcher's doing a heck of a job right now, helping, acclimate Americans to it, but Australians and Scottish people use it as a term of endearment, and I was horrified to see the reaction the first time I used it in 2007, and somebody sat down and almost cried because I mentioned it in their presence. So, if I do anything from this movie, I just want to get people more comfortable with words.
I don't think
that's so hurt by them. They're just words.
You're not going to be saying that on Netflix, I don't think. I think that's still going to be...
I was legit pitching it to, one of our executives last night. They weren't feeling it either. I had an idea for, Ray and I to have a cold open for Netflix where we just drop that word that goes into the intro. They weren't feeling it.
Maybe not.
I love it, though.
Did Dave give you any sort of acting advice since this is your first film?
The biggest thing Dave did as soon as I was on set, was this giant broken down castle, just a huge production, so many people running around. I was like, wow, this is a different world. He came over to me, made sure to check I was all good and asked me, are you nervous? And I was like, well, yeah, I'm nervous. And I'm nervous. How are you nervous at this point? You've done so many movies and people are seeing just what an amazing actor he is in whatever role that he's put in, like a genuine, amazing character actor. I can't believe you're nervous. I get nervous every time. And so that helped kind of relax me, just knowing Dave at this point in his career. Still got a little nervous. And as soon as I sat down and that red light went on, I just instantly relaxed. Like I've grown up in front of the camera my whole adult life. And that's my comfort zone. I might shock people, a bit of an introvert. People's worst nightmare, like when people say, God, I had this nightmare, I was in my underwear in front of a large crowd, is like my comfort zone. I was like, God, I wish I wasn't at this party right now. I wish I wasn't in my underwear in front of a giant stadium right now. I'd be so relaxed. Or like in front of a camera with a red light on. So it was cool to go into that environment, see the red light and know the training I had unknowingly in WWE for years prepared me for that environment.
You think this is the first of many movies?
We'll see. It's just a fun journey as far as I'm concerned. All I ever wanted to be was a wrestler since I was 5 years old. And very lucky to get signed straight from university, have the journey I've had. And if the right opportunity comes up, like the character you saw it yourself, it wasn't Big Bruiser number 3. It's just standing, being big and angry. I was like, I'm not going to do that. Like, thankfully, wrestling's providing a living where I can pick and choose what I want to do, and I want to wrestle, but I was like, this looks fun, and it was fun. So if something comes up like that, I'm going to do it.
Your character had a name, a story, background, tons of scenes, lots of action.
And he was sexy.
Yes.
There's no smell-o-vision. Won't spoil it for everybody, but it gets a bit wild, just the way I like it.
How are you feeling like right now in the day-to-day of what you're doing? Like, if we peel back the curtain just a little bit, like your travel schedule's insane, right?
That's mental.
You're on the other side of the country, Rhode Island last night for Providence, Rhode Island for Raw. You're here in LA for basically these interviews.
Yep.
Then it's
all the way for you, Chris.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Then it's Bash in Berlin, right?
No, I got to go back to Nashville first.
There you go.
So I turn around, take the red eye, go back to Nashville.
See the cat.
Yep, see the missus, see the 4 cats, pack my bag, and then I head to Berlin. We got the kickoff show on the Friday. Who knows what media, etc. I'm sure a bunch. Then Passion of the Punk on Saturday. And then head back to Denver for it.
Your name came up recently when I was talking to Joe Hendry.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's killing it.
Crushing it. And he was talking about the influence that you had, in Scotland. Like you were the guy. You were the guy that a lot of people there looked up to on the indies. What do you think of the work Joe's doing now?
He's killing it. It's awesome. I mean, to a lot of people, it's, oh my goodness, this overnight sensation. Joe Hendry is not overnight sensation. He's been working hard. He's been paying his dues. He's been perfecting his shtick that we're all seeing right now. And I always put over his video. He's got one on me. I'm Drew. So make sure you look it up. And I always tell this story. Just if you've not heard me say I didn't know what the video was, I told them don't show me. I want to have a legitimate reaction in the ring to his video. So I'm Drew came up to the tune of I'm Blue. and I was supposed to be angry, and I was laughing so much. I had my hair in my face trying to cover my laughter. And it's just so entertaining. And there's always that entertainment aspect, but he's come so far in the ring as well. He's put it all together, and yeah, he's about a 10-year overnight sensation.
Yeah, and he's just crushing. He's everywhere, too.
Yep.
He's everywhere.
So if you saw my interview with Adam Copeland or Christian Cage, they said that planking was one of the biggest reasons that they're in the best shape of their life at 50 years old. And they designed a product that makes it comfortable, functional, and fun, and it's called Pure Plank. I've been doing this every day, and I can tell you Pure Plank is the real deal. And the best part about it is you can start planking with just 3 minutes a day. Pure Plank's signature soft rubber padding ensures that planks are comfortable no matter how long you hold them, and their handles guide you into the perfect plank position every single time with optimal body alignment. Look, the problem with planking is that it's boring and it's uncomfortable. And Pure Plank has solved both of those with the mat and the handles. And let me tell you, when you grab onto those handles and you start to shake a little bit in your core, oh baby, it's on. So they were kind enough to create the discount code CVV. So if you go to gopureplank.com and you use that code CVV, you'll save 10% on Pure Plank, designed by Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
Your name also came up when I talked to Jinder recently. And it's crazy to think that the same guy who was in 3MB is the same guy who's sitting in front of me right now. Yeah.
That wasn't me, man.
It's crazy. Like, what's the biggest difference between you now and you 10 years ago?
God, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, first of all, I'm so happy for Jinder. And I knew he'd hit the ground running, and kill it. He's already picked up multiple championships. And when you see him in a clip, it's like that's the star right there. Look at that guy. Look how much he stands out. So I'm so happy for his success. But, God, where would I begin? As a wrestler, you need that experience, and I think I had to leave the company to truly find myself, in ring, and especially on the microphone, find my voice. Because when I was younger, it was very much drilled into me, and was at the time, you have to say these words on the script. You have to say each word exactly as it's written. And that's all you're thinking about when you're out there and you're not relaxed, you're not present, you're not in the moment. And I don't think I was present for 90% of my first run. Aside 3MB, I was so relaxed, but I don't know if we were fully present because we were mostly hungover. As Jinder mentioned, we were kind of method actors. We were legitimately acting like we were in rock bands, yet had no songs or instruments or financial success to show for it. A lot of hangovers to show for it, though. But yeah, just to see how far I've been able to come in ring, finding my voice, finding who I am in every aspect, and thanks to everybody I've worked with along the way, and people like Joe who believed in me, looked up to me that way when I was first fired from WWE and in 3MB. And they were like, Drew's here, he's going to lift us up. And in my head, I was like, can I do this? I've been in the 3MB for so long, I'm the 3MB guy. And their faith in me allowed me to kind of fake it until I made it and start believing in myself. And one day I just went, I know exactly who I am and where I need to be. The final piece was stopping a cycle outside the ring and burning the candle at both ends and throwing gasoline on the candle. And that's where the wife came in and helped me become the man I am today. And by the time I returned to WWE, I was the performer and the man. So there's no comparison over the past 10 years. So whatever you're at in your life, your career, in wrestling, out of wrestling, just trust the process, work hard, leave no stone unturned. Don't listen to social media unless you come after me and I'll rip you to pieces, and be accountable to the person in the mirror. You can do anything.
You were already in great shape, but then when you came back to WWE, you were in insane shape, and you still are.
Okay.
Was there a day where you were like, I'm going to really turn it up in the gym now?
Yep. I don't so much turn up in the gym. I always worked out hard. More like diet-wise is such a difference maker for me. I have such a high metabolism, not as high as it used to be, but still really high. And the key was breaking my neck initially. That kind of helped me in a lot of ways. Yeah, when people ask me for advice, I was like, it really was a turning point in my life. Breaking my neck. Getting fired and breaking my neck. Those two things I recommend for you to truly find your potential. But yeah, I broke my neck in Newcastle, England in 2016, I believe it was. And luckily it was a non-displaced fracture. And I just had to take some time off, like 8 weeks. I think I fully took off and maybe did some promos for Evolve during that time. But got very lucky, but had some time at home for the first time. ever. That came straight from uni to WWE schedule to the independent schedule, which was even busier than WWE schedule. And during that 8 weeks is where not only did the missus have the conversation of, if you don't get your act together, you're going to crash and burn for one. I was like, well, I'm the most successful independent wrestler in the world. What more can I do? And she was like, there's more you can do. Basically, WWE, that's where you should be on top. But also, I'm going to leave your arse if you don't get yourself together outside the ring. And that's where I really was, okay, this is not who I want to be. I can do more. I do want to be back there. I do want to be world champion. The goal was to headline WrestleManias. I'm proud of what I'm doing right now, but okay, what are we going to do? We're going to cut back on the partying, or at least for a period, eliminate it. And we're going to start looking at areas that can improve. Like, who's the top billing in WWE right now? And at the time, I was looking at like a Brock Lesnar and a Paul Heyman. I went, okay, that's the top attraction right now. If I stand in front of Brock, am I believable? More than a lot of people, but no, I can do better than that. I'm going to build my body up to look the part. If I step in front of Brock, people are going to go, I believe he can beat him up. If I got to go toe-to-toe with Heyman on the mic, as much as I'm comfortable right now on the mic, I got to get better. And I'd ask for more promos and shows after that. So I was eating like a maniac when I returned from that neck injury. I was talking as much as I possibly could. And you fast forward a few years where I eliminated Brock from the Rumble. The next night on Raw, I remember Ricochet saying, well, that's pretty cool. And I looked at a graphic on the screen, and it was Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar with an image of Heyman. And I was like, wow, that's the motivation I used when I broke my neck. So, yeah, everybody out there, get fired, break your neck. Next Drew McIntyre.
I like that you said your goal wasn't...
Oh, you'll be in a movie, too.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. I like that you said your goal wasn't to headline WrestleMania. It was headline WrestleManias.
Oh, yeah.
With an S on the end. But that's a big distinction, right? There's a lot of people that just want to headline a WrestleMania.
Yeah, I went multiple WrestleManias. I want to be the absolute top of this industry. And like I told the missus when I finally had my vision clear, I'm going back to not just be one of the guys, I'm going back to be the guy. And I'm going to work my arse off and make it happen. And whatever I have to do. And thankfully I sit here, former WrestleMania main eventer, unlike a certain somebody. I can't quite put my name.
Oh, yeah.
Can't quite put my finger on his name right now, but he ain't won a Rumble either. He's not very pretty.
When they called you the Chosen One, did you feel like the Chosen One?
I guess in certain ways, but a lot of people did not like it backstage, so I didn't feel as much backstage with the professional jealousy that I didn't realize how significant it was and the things that were being said. And it was all out of jealousy and why is this kid getting this huge opportunity when I've been here for all these years? But for the opportunities on TV, I certainly did for a period. And looking back, I know obviously I could have done things a little bit differently, but at the same time, I just didn't have those tools in my wheelhouse to do things differently. And we all go through our journeys for a reason to end up at the final destination.
Did this year at WrestleMania, winning the World Heavyweight Championship, did that feel like your WrestleMania moment? Because it's so tough with 36, right? You beat Brock Lesnar, but, it's in front of nobody.
Just the way I pictured it as a kid.
Right. Just the roar of the echo of the nothingness in the...
No, it was great. 11:30 in the morning, beating Brock, and then wait until the following week to watch it. I was like, can't wait to see the main event of WrestleMania. Can I place money on it?
Did this year feel like that moment?
Yeah, it did. The match itself, the opening WrestleMania, myself and Seth, one of my greatest rivals. We have big professional rivalry. And the match itself was perfect. Just with a story going into it. We've had so many matches, like technical, high flying, near falls left and right. This was OK Corral, just starting off Claymore, just unload till somebody doesn't get back up. And finally I put the last round in Seth, and I had that moment where the crowd were chanting, "You deserve it." At WrestleMania, Seth had that moment telling me the same thing, which meant a lot. And then being able to present the title to my wife, just been such a big part of the journey. And I don't know why my voice is cracking. I guess I'm getting emotional.
We don't need to talk about what happened after that.
But no, yeah. I'm not going to talk about what happened after that. But
I don't even remember.
Exactly. That 5 minutes or whatever I dragged it out to, because I made sure I milked every second of it, because that was very real. It was very emotional. And being able to give her the title and say, "This is yours too." And hugging my brother, who's my original tag partner, was very, very cool. And then Punk fucked it up.
Did that mean more than if you had won at Clash of the Castle?
I think so. It's weird because you look at certain moments, and in the moment when you're living them, you're like, this is ridiculous. We should have found a way out of this. Theory could have cashed in, and I could have pinned him because we had to protect the bloodline and Roman at that time. So it's the top story in the company, the top character. And perhaps at that time, I was like, I just feel this is a bad move. The thing about Tyson Fury, that was stupid. There's no excuse for that. That's the worst moment of my entire career.
It wasn't that bad.
We did the song, and then I told him, hey, you want to sing Sweet Caroline? Because British fans, one, they're upset I just lost, and two, they don't know American Pie, so he can sing in America. He was like, nah, I'm good, mate. No, I'm not going to fight you. You're Tyson Fury, so give me the mic. And I figured we're off the air. That's when I started doing the Oasis bit and singing, what's the story? Hey, sorry, Don't Look Back in Anger.
Yeah.
And just got the crowd going, and I was like, this sucks, but we're off the air. Then I found out we were still on the air, and yeah, it was a whole thing. But anyway, I digress. Oasis are back together.
Yeah.
Got to get some tickets for that. That night I was very upset. Was like, man, I don't want to hurt that market. How does McIntyre rebound from this? Which took a minute to do. But because I didn't win that night, the way things worked out, the story we've been telling, that was such an integral part of the story, especially initially with the characters shift with Jey Uso moving from SmackDown to Raw and bringing up the trauma and PTSD McIntyre, had from the bloodline and what they had done to cost not just me, but my family that moment, who were all in the front row. My dad, my wife, my brother, my sister-in-law, my cousin. Like, everybody is there who've been missing me for all these years and not seen my nephews grow up. That was going to be our moment, and this trauma is brought up by this bloodline member just showing up, and everybody cheering him and saying a silly little word, yeet, and doing his little silly dance. And I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's a bad guy. And then suddenly people start turning on me. So if it wasn't for what happened at Clash, if it wasn't for the journey, and the way we tell stories now and can tell stories now, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
So I recently made it a goal to get into the best shape of my life, and I knew that it would take more than just some great workout routines and eating healthier to get there and to really feel my best. It would take me taking my health and my well-being into my own hands, and that's what I did with Merrick Health. Merrick Health is the premier health optimization platform, empowering you to maximize your longevity and performance with the confidence that comes from having experts in your back pocket. Think of this as kind of like a look under the hood to just see where everything's at in your body and get a baseline for your numbers to see if you need to raise or lower any of the ones that aren't where they should be. So I ordered their optimization package, which includes 84 carefully selected biomarkers, which is far more than any doctor would ever run for you. You also get a custom lab report with actionable recommendations validated by a clinical research team and physicians, and a thorough analysis of your lab report and a video call with Merrick Health. And I'm proud to say that now at 41 years old, I'm the healthiest that I've ever been, and I have the numbers to back it up. I think this is one of the most important things you can do to find out where you're at right now and then set a goal for where you want to be. So to get the exact same panel and the exact same medical oversight that I got, go to merrickhealth.com/CVV, use the code CVV, and you'll save 10% at checkout.
What about in Scotland? It's right there.
Yeah, that was a tough one. A really, really tough one. At the same time, if I win, then I'm right. Sometimes it's okay to be right. That one really stung.
Was there not a moment where you were like, are you guys sure? Are you sure this is what we're doing?
Yeah. There's always that moment. And I, like in the environment we're in now, it's story above all else. I didn't feel that way in the past. I was like, if we don't do this now, things could change in a couple of weeks. There's a lot of pivoting left and right, and characters and stories changing consistently. Now I know we will stick to the story, and it hurt, but I see where we are now. And I'm like, okay, if I won that night, then I'm just, I did it. I'm right. Go screw yourselves.
Yeah.
But because of what happened, and much as I can't stand them, that moment was something that will be replayed forever. Just the big near fall at the end, everybody in my freaking home country going insane, 1-2, and it's that piece of shit counting the fall and costing me the match with a low blow. And at the same time, at SummerSlam, if you noticed, the way I gave him the low blow was the exact same corner, the exact same way he did it to me, so he can't say one word about how things happened at SummerSlam.
The trolling on social media has been just on another level. It's amazing. Congrats.
Thank you.
The photo.
Ever met anybody from the UK or pricks?
The photo with Jack Perry was something else. Did you just run into him at Comic-Con?
No, I was flying to LA, and they just did a show the night before. I'd seen Roderick Strong at the airport, a buddy of mine, and we got to catch up, which was awesome. He was heading to an ROH show, I believe. And then on the flight, just seen Jack, had a little chat. I chat with him and his missus, and then we snapped a picture, and the internet had a freaking meltdown. It was hilarious.
How long did it get to stay up for?
I think it lasted 45 minutes, and then the numbers I heard were 2 million impressions or something insane for 45 minutes. It was pretty wild. People enjoyed that immensely. So yeah, I'm always dancing on that line of what's acceptable, not acceptable, make people question things. And as I said...
do you know where that line is?
It's probably back about 100 yards that way. That's where I live. And yeah, I just do what was fun. And then, did someone tell me? Didn't someone tell me? Was it by design? Did I choose to remove it? I'll never answer that question because I love people asking questions.
If you keep doing stuff like this, you know that people are just going to keep cheering you. Like, it's a funny spot that you're in.
Yeah.
You're doing bad guy stuff, but you're getting a good guy reaction.
Not always. Like Punk is like Teflon, and I spoke about it last night. It's like nostalgia's a hell of a thing. And he's been gone for so long. They were chanting his name so long. His legend's grown. He's been living on that Cena feud and the pipe bomb, which were all, revolutionary at the time. But he returns, and people are excited to see him. Fair enough. I don't like him. And we get involved in each other's business, but then people start, not everybody, but a lot of people start chanting his name, which genuinely hurts. I'm like, wait a minute. I think last night, and this line came to me when I was out there. It's not like this was planned or anything. I said my bit and did his whole promo because he's so predictable, and pointed out the fans are enablers, so they're encouraging him because of his ego, chanting his name. He believes he can fight someone like me in a strap match. I'm going to kill him. But then by the end, they chanted his name again, and I'm trying to paraphrase myself because it came to me in the moment. And I said, you're choosing nostalgia over the warrior that's always been there for you in the darkest of times. And that came to me in the moment just because that's how I felt.
It's poetic.
Yeah, but it's true. I really feel that way. I was, hey, man, I've been working my arse off for you guys 52 weeks a year. But like literally, I've almost caused myself to lose, relationships and everything because I give everything to this industry. And it's just the way of the world. Sometimes, it's what have you done for me lately? And hey, I like this hot new thing over here. And it's like, okay. And I told them, I forgive you still. Because you know not what you do.
Is there a particular line that you've used against CM Punk that you're especially proud of?
I could write a book with the size of War and Peace about the amount of lines I've used, because I've been holding it all together since January, doing 99.9% of the heavy lifting. So yeah, I mean, there's so many. One that I like in particular, I remember my wife doesn't think I'm funny at all. Thankfully the boys do, a lot of the fans do. But I was in the shower and I remember I shouted at her. And I was like, Caitlin, come here. And she runs through thinking something's wrong. And she said, what? I was like, I got an idea for a line. She said, oh God, what? And I was like, all right. See, Punk's straight edge. Said he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything. He said, okay. So what's the line? I was like, okay, here. Here's what's ironic about CM Punk. He's straight edge, doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs, yet he spends all this time in rehab. And she just rolled her eyes and walked off. And then I used it on TV not long after. And it was during the Chicago promo everyone talks about. And again, that was one of my favorite moments. Again, whatever I feel about him personally. When he's on, he's not always on, and I crush him on the mic. He was on in Chicago, and we went back and forth, like I mentioned, Seth and I, like OK Corral, like verbal bombs on each other. And he got the one at the end where I was like, all right, he wins this one in Chicago because I'm not going to go down there because I'm not willing to hurt the company or whatever, which, that's the kind of person I am, a company guy. He plays the company guy, he wears the suit, kisses all the corporate ass. I don't do any of that stuff, but I do the stuff that actually matters, like not hurting the company's image.
There's this moment that keeps surfacing online from TNA, and it's you, LA Knight, and Tongaloa in the ring together. And it's so funny because you look at you guys now and it's like, look where you're at in your career. Do you remember that moment back then?
Not clearly, but yeah. Like at that time, my schedule was, we talk about today and the past few days and where I'm going this week all across the world. Back then, it was 10 times crazier. I was back and forth to the UK literally every 3 weeks.
Wow.
And for most TNA tapings, I'd be in like Scotland, England, whatever. Like the industry 2014 to 17 was just so hot. It led to the creation, obviously, of AEW. Just how hot the industry was and how many people just really taking off during that time. And the UK itself was just such a hotbed. So I was there all the time, and I'd fly to try and make the taping the first day just on time. So I was very jet lagged a lot of the time. But yeah, I had fun with those guys. I kind of didn't understand why I needed a group. But at the same time, I was friends with No Camacho, T. I'm not sure where he wrestles as these days. Something Loa? Tongaloa?
Yeah, Tongaloa, yeah.
And I'd never really been around, LA at the time. And at first, I wasn't too sure about him. I think he's talked about this publicly, so I'm not saying anything out of school. But yeah, I don't know, his personality, sometimes he can rub you the wrong way at first.
He's a lot.
He is a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were supposed to be on the same team. It was a lot at times. But I still, I was like, he's obviously got talent, his charisma by the bucket load. And it wasn't until after the Rising was done, I think we were at the hotel, maybe everyone was hanging out and we had a proper chat, and I went, oh, right, I get you now. And now he's like one of the, I love him, such a great guy. I feel bad that I ever felt otherwise during our group. So sorry, I don't know if I was told this story. We didn't get along necessarily. I didn't get along, maybe he didn't know that, but he knows now. But I love him. I love him these days.
What did that match last year, WrestleMania 39, what did that match mean to you? Gunther and you and Sheamus in there, and you tore it down.
I'd say bell to bell, the fact that it was at WrestleMania, that could be the best match, probably is the best match of my career. I mean, how can you top beat at WrestleMania, having a match that people will say is one of the greatest Mania matches of all time, but perhaps the greatest triple threat of all time, and also the history I have with Sheamus for the past 20 years. I'm in the ring and out the ring, everything we've gone through together, and then adding Gunther with somebody who's just very similar to us, such an incredible physical in-ring talent, and put us all together, and it was amazing. And I remember not even 10 minutes into the match, I think it was after Sheamus gave me about 20, how many beats? Oh, that one line, it was about 40 beats to the chest and the face. And then the crowd went crazy, and they're chanting, I believe this is awesome. And I was like, wow, we're not even getting started. Just wait till you see. And also, why am I seeing double at this point? But it was cool. And the story for the match was cool as well, because eventually Gunther disappeared for a while, and Sheamus and I have always dreamt about a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. And we went back and forth for about 10 straight minutes, claymores and brogues and hitting our bombs. It was like we were having that singles match, and we forgot about Gunther, and at the right moment he just reappears, boom, steals it, heads out. So that was cool as well, that Sheamus and I kind of got our one-on-one match at Mania we should have had the year prior.
What happened at Survivor Series last year? Was this a seed being planted with CM Punk? He returns in Chicago, and you very angrily, leave the ring and storm out.
There was no seed being planted. I was just angry, and I left the ring and I stormed out. I mean, I'm not shy to talk about it. I was pissed off, and
that he was there, that you didn't know about it.
I guess a number of things. I can understand business reasons. That's not for me to make those decisions. Personally, I was pissed off, and I chose to leave the arena because I'm not going to cause an incident. That's going to, affect everybody's mood afterwards, and the guys in the match that worked so hard. And people asking me, my Seth and I's reaction, maybe that was Seth's legit reaction, but to me, I couldn't have stood out there. If somebody's that close to me that I don't like that much, I wouldn't stand and swear and have people hold me back. I would have walked right up to him, punched him in the face, so I chose to leave the building.
Probably better than punching him in the face.
Yeah, I mean,
you
again,
do that now.
Exactly, I do that now, and it's amazing. I guess we're get to make money for our hatred for each other.
I had Riddick Moss on the show recently, and he told the story about that Alabama slam where he landed on his head, and he's like, completely my fault, not Drew.
Yeah, it was still terrifying.
So what were you thinking in that moment?
I didn't know how he landed until after the match. I knew that it was going awkward halfway through. I remember stepping back to try and give him a little more room, but I didn't realize he tucked his chin into his chest, so there was nothing that was going to happen but spike himself. So I thought he landed a little awkward in his shoulder, perhaps. I went to give him a second to recover, and the ref was kind of buzzing me, frantic, just to make sure he was okay. And we continued, and he was fine, and we went through the whole match. Like
nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened. If we'd known how bad it looked to the crowd, we should have used that. I just didn't know, or would have gone for his neck. And then after the match, getting to see the clip, I remember watching it, oh my God, and seeing the color drain out of his body.
In slow motion.
It was terrifying. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. He's lucky, he's just so jacked and conditioned. He's like a super athlete. But that was after the fact, one of the scariest moments of my career, watching it back and just constantly checking, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? How are you okay? Are you a human being? It was genuinely the most scariest things I've ever seen. I didn't even realize in the moment how bad it was.
Baron Corbin drops to one knee like, ooh.
Then I kicked out of his End of Days. Do you know that story? Oh, yeah, I kicked out of the End of Days. I'm the only person ever to do it.
That's
at
right.
WrestleMania.
Yes.
Yes. We should talk about that for 93 minutes and just send it to Corbin.
Perfect.
He loves it.
We'll text this right over to him.
When I talk about how I kicked out of the End of Days at WrestleMania.
The only person to do it.
The only person to do it. Hopefully the only person ever, because then it'll still be special, because I'm the only one that's ever done it. It'll be in his tombstone. No one kicked out of the End of Days but Drew McIntyre.
He told me a long, great story about how The Undertaker told him, protect your finish. And if someone is going to kick out of it, it needs to be super meaningful. Protect your finish. You're the guy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't done just randomly. Like he, has protected it so long, and I'm very appreciative that we used it at WrestleMania, which led to, myself, Drew McIntyre, growing as a performer to the next level to fight Roman Reigns at the giant show in the UK, the first stadium show in 30 years. So it led to a destination. It wasn't just done to fuck with Corbin, which is funny. But no, I'm very appreciative because he is very protective of it, and he did that for me, and the character and the show to lead to McIntyre Reigns.
Drew, I'm so glad we were finally able to make this happen. Congrats on everything that you're doing. Congrats on the Killers game. And I'm going to wrap this up with a question I ask everybody at the end. Gratitude's so important to me. So, Drew, what are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for as we sit here right now?
Family, for sure. Health, after wrestling for 24 years. I'll give the last one to the wife. I know she falls under family, but she, we've got to put her over a little extra now and again, so she gets a slot all to herself.
The cats fall into the first one?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I love those little bums. It's like, I wish I could take one of them with me. My wife would never let me. Chaz is well behaved. I bet I could take him on tours with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Finally happened.
Finally happened.